to this video, which is the fourth video, but it's the third grammar video, in which I'm going to differentiate between since and for. We said before that since and for are keywords for the present perfect or the present perfect continuous or progressive. But I want you to differentiate between since and for, because they usually are in the exams to choose. You are asked to choose whether since or for, and it's according to what comes after them. So whenever you have since and for and you think which one to choose, look after them. If after them there is the start of a period, remember since, after it there is the start of a period. Since, start of a period. Like this. This is the start. This is a period, for example, and this is the start of the period. Okay? But for, what comes after for? A period of time, a complete period of time. Like this. This is the period of time. 3 weeks, 5 days, and so on. Let's see examples of things that come after since and those that come after for. For example, 7 o'clock. I haven't seen him since 7 o'clock. So, for example, now it's 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. So it's been like 6 hours since I met him or since I saw him. So the complete period is 6 hours. But if I say since 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock is the start of the period in which I didn't see him. But if I say I haven't seen him for 7 hours, this means that I mentioned the whole period of time, the 7 hours. Know what? So since 7 o'clock, but for 7 hours. Since Tuesday, I haven't eaten fish since Tuesday. For example, today is Friday, so I haven't eaten fish for 3 days. So if I mention 3 days, then I mention the whole period. But if I mention Tuesday, which is the start of the period, okay, I haven't eaten fish since Tuesday. I haven't eaten fish for 3 days. And the same with October. This is the start of a period. And 5 months, this is the whole period. So since October for 5 months, since 2008 for 10 years, since last week for the last week. For the last week, since last week. Since she got married, I haven't seen her since she got married. This is when she got married, I stopped seeing her. So this is the start of the period in which I didn't see her. I haven't seen her for a long time. So now I mentioned the whole period. Since he graduated, or for ages. For ages is like for a long time. Okay? Now, when you write a formal letter, as you will see in the first writing video, which is the fourth video, sorry, the third video, the first writing video, in which you are asked to write a formal letter. And in the video, I told you that when you write questions in the formal letter, the questions should be indirect questions. Now, let's see how you start an indirect question. You start an indirect question with a phrase like this: can you tell me? Or could you tell me? Or would you tell me? Of course, could or would are more polite than can. Or can you inform me? Could you inform me? Or would you inform me? And then you ask the question, of course, and I'm going to tell you because there will be a little bit difference with the words that follow these phrases. Do you know? This is, of course, for the indirect questions. Do you know? And then you ask your question. Let's see now how you will change the question from direct to indirect. First, you start with one of these phrases, okay? For example, do you know? The direct question is where. The direct question is where is the hotel? Notice is after the question word where, there is, and then the hotel, the helping verb, and then the subject. But if you start with this phrase, do you know? Okay, so after the question word, do you know where the hotel is? See the difference? Instead of is the hotel, you write the hotel is. Do you know where the hotel is? For example, what is your name? Could you tell me what your name is? Another example, what, this is the question word, helping verb can I. What can I have for breakfast? This is a direct question. If you want to turn it into an indirect one, you start with the phrase, could you tell me? Could you tell me? And then what, this is the question word, I can, not can I. So what can I have for breakfast? But could you tell me what I can have for breakfast? One last example, can I take horse riding lessons? This is a yes/no question. Can I? Can I take horse riding lessons? If you start like, I'd like to know, of course here you will add the word if. Okay, I'd like to know if or whether. If is easier, of course. So I'd like to know if, and then not can I, but what I can. So can you, I'd like to know if I could. It's okay, you write can. I'd like to know if I could or if I can take horse riding lessons. Now let's go to the exercise, which is answered, of course, in your books, the student book, page 75, at the bottom right-hand corner. How much does it cost? This is a direct question. How much does it cost? If you start with the phrase, could you tell me? To make it an indirect question, you will write, could you tell me how much it costs? How much it costs. Don't write how much it does cost, because does just gives the verb an S, okay, but it is not mentioned after it. So you write, could you tell me how much it costs? Number 2, what type of sports can I do at the hotel? So if you started like this, do you know? Do you know what type of sports I can do at the hotel? Number 3, how many people can stay at the camp? So can you inform me how many people can stay? Now here, because this is a subject question, it asks about the subject. It's more, it's very complicated to you, but here we don't make inversion. We don't change the places. It's as it is. Can you inform me how many people can stay? Because here we have the subject first, how many people can. Like I I can do. It costs. How many people can? So we don't change this question. And number 4, how far is the hotel from the city center? If you started, it will be like this. If you started with the phrase, would you inform me? You will write, would you inform me how far the hotel is from the city center? And finally, is there a swimming pool at the hotel? You will start it with the phrase, could you tell me? And then if, of course, because this is a yes/no question, which starts with the helping verb is. So you turn it into an indirect one, writing, could you tell me if there is, not is there. if there is a swimming pool at the hotel. I hope you have understood, and then thank you, and this is the last video for this month.